Hey there, fellas. We're about to see the final recap of the 2014 Honkie Football League season. But before we do, as your former champion, I'd like to go ahead and congratulate our new champion. That's me! I'm the champion! Look at all this confetti and these balloons! I'm the winner! I'd like to thank Gronk, I'd like to thank Joik Bell, I'd like to thank Fembat Forte, everyone who helped me win. It's so good. Thanks, guys. Better luck next year, losers. See ya!
Hey fellas, welcome back to our final episode of the recap here on the Honkie Football League Network. It's a Super Bowl week for our parent company, the NFL, so now seems like a great time to release our championship episode. I know, it's really timely. I'm your faithful host and champion, Mark Krasinski. Yes, it's true the season is over, and yes, this lovely trophy here is mine once again. And you see those two nameplates? That's because not only am I the first double winner in the league, I'm the first back-to-back winner. It's a real record-breaking season for me. Felt good. But yes, so the sad thing about having 2014's champion named is that the season's once again over. It seems like just a few weeks ago we had our 3 or 4 drafts, whatever it was, to get it right. But the season is really over, and little tear from all of us, I'm sure. Also likely to be over is the recap. I know it's very, very sad, and I'm sure you guys are all very broken up about it. But Netflix just doesn't seem to see our show going another season. They quoted a lack of viewership and interest as the reason. Not quite sure what that means, but I'll take them at their word. But never mind that BS. Let's do our last show big. I mean, shit, guys, we already had balloons. That's pretty sweet. Anyway, let's look all the way back to Week 16's matchups, give it our weekly awards, and then hand out our end-of-season awards as well. But first, let's look at our championship game. The second-seeded Joikin Off taking on the 6th-seeded Don Goodell for the Honkie Football League Cup. You know, this guy right here. Joikin Off GM Mark Krasinski, me, setting records, back-to-back champs for the first time in the history of our league. Thanks to key players who showed up big for them in this game and really all season. First, the rock of the team, Matt Forte, 15.5 this week. We have the X-Man himself, Dez, with 13.3, 27.52 out of Mr. December, Tony Romo, and the team MVP, Old Dirty Beckham, who nearly single-handedly stomped Joikin Off's opponents down the stretch and in the playoffs. Since he entered his first NFL game in Week 5, he scored in single digits only 3 times and had 3 games over 20 points, two of which were in the semis and then in the championship. He wins the Honkie Bowl's MVP. Congrats, Odell Beckham Jr. You've been a real badass all season, and I appreciate it. The Don Goodell started Sunday off nearly even in score with the soon-to-be champ, but his team lacked the explosion of points that would be required to win. Their highest scorer was Maselli's boyfriend, Matt Ryan, who had 17.58 points, but QBs aside, Joikin Off had 4 players outscore their top guy this week, who was 13.1 out of Randall Cobb. The Don falls short of his ultimate goal once again, but this time it was definitive. No stat corrections here. 81.38 to the still defending champs, 121.42. Let's take a look at the third place game. Top seeded Coon the Cobb versus number 5 seed Tinker Stinkers. The heavy favorite in this one, Tinker Stinkers, had 2 horrific performances that put them in serious danger of missing the podium after an impressive run to make the playoffs. Andrew Luck, Fantasy's golden donkey boy, did his best Matt Schaub impression though in Week 16 and only scored 2.36 points against the Cowboys, but strangely, he wasn't even the lowest scorer. AJ Green hurt himself and snagged exactly 0 balls for 0 yards and 0 points, but they still beat Coon and the Cobb for 3rd place and just a taste of that sweet, sweet prize money. Final score here, Tinker Stinkers with 86.86 to Coon and the Cobb's overachieving 74.12. Let's go over the toilet bowl matchups real quick. In the battle for 7th place, we had Taco versus Force Or Butt. They both had bad showings, but one was worse. Both had 3 players in double digits, nearly matching scores from QB at the QB position, 2 wide receiver spots, kicker, and a .2 differential at 1 running back spot. Problem was, Forsyth got -5 at defense, where Taco scored 12, a 17-point swing, and they lost 57.7 to Taco's 71.32. You guys should both feel really bad about your teams, but not as bad as these next 2 squads. It's our 9th place game, or as I like to call it, the battle for last. The GOAT versus 50 Shades of Gold. Now, this matchup really lived up to the hype of the last place game. The two teams combined for a scorching 109.76 points, 11.66 less than your champion score in the championship week. To give perspective on how bad this matchup was, the highest scoring player in this matchup was terrible Andy Dalton with 146 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 25 rushing yards for 15.34 points. Hell, the GOAT's defense scored -7, and he still won this matchup. Final score for 9th place GOAT, 55.32. To the league's doormat, 10th place, 50 Shades of Gold, 54.44. Great season, fellas. Great job. That does it for the head-to-head portion of the show. Now let's keep this ice cream truck moving and head on to the awards. Week 16's Biggest Loser. It's one thing to win the Biggest Loser award, but it's another to win it in such convincing fashion. Losing in the championship is already grounds for the award, but to lose by 40.04 in the championship, damn, that's rough. In the Don's second championship appearance, he falls again, partly because he played a superior team, but also because outside of this week, they only scored less points in a matchup one time in the previous 11 weeks. Relax, Don. Yes, you are the biggest loser, and yes, it was the championship, and yes, that sucks. But there wasn't anything you could have done to prevent your fate. Our next award winner, though, they absolutely could have changed things. It's Week 16's Bench Boo Boo. Well, here we are, the final Bench Boo Boo of the season. Hey guys, let me ask you a question. If you were playing for 3rd place in the HFL, would you sit a guy who had double-digit scoring in 8 out of the last 9 weeks? I know I sure wouldn't, but Coon the Cobb did think that, taking back-to-back Boo Boo awards with it too. That player he sat was Marshawn Lynch, a guy who has the ability to cause earthquakes. I mean, how can you bench him? But you had Justin Forsett against Houston. Boo! He only got you 3.2 measly points, while Beast Mode chugged off for 23.3 with 2 touchdowns and 113 yards, 79 of which came on 1 run. Had you played Lynch, you would have won by double digits, but now your ass is off the podium. Congrats, Coon the Cobb. You are Week 16's Bench Boo Boo. Boy, you earned it. Next up, we have a few more awards, but let's take a look at the final standings real quick. As you can see, our top 3 finishers are donned in their respective gold, silver, and bronze. Bolded numbers are the highest, italicized the lowest for each of those different stats. The big thing I noticed is the power rankings. Look at Coon the Cobb overachieving from their terrible draft to be the #1 seed in the playoffs. But notice, he's really the big outlier here. Look at the bottom 4 finishes in the league. Pre-ranked to finish 6 through 9. Like Buzz's girlfriend, woof. Now, I promised you boys some year-end awards. Let's get to it. First up, we got the Happy Home Award, and that's the most players drafted on their roster at the end of season. Don Goodell had 10. Next highest was 7. That's crazy. Congrats, Don. You had the most guys and still made the championship, though you didn't win. Next up is the Titties Title Award. It goes Best Team Name. This feels weird, but I gotta give it to myself. Joykinoff is a great team name, and the Detroit Lions are the greatest franchise in football. That's just a fact. Next up, we got Gruden's Grinder. Best playoff run. Tinker Stinkers. 2nd year in a row, I think he took this one. So he does something right at the end of the year. I guess it's all those big-time trades. Next, we got the Glass Knee Award. That was pretty self-explanatory. Team injured or hurt most by injuries or loss of a player. That goes to Force It in Your Butt for Victor Cruz and AP. Oh, bummer. Oh, bummer. You shouldn't beat kids, guy, and you wouldn't be suspended for the whole season. That'd be good. Points Baller. That's the guy who had the highest score all season in the regular season. Hot Graham with 1,467.36, averaged 112.87 in the regular season. Next up in our final award of the end of the season, Points Buster, the GOAT. Finished with just 1,020 points, .26. Average 78.48. Oh boy. Guys, that's it for Week 16 and for the recap as well. It's been fun getting paid exorbitant amounts of money to make fun of your teams all season. I hope you all enjoy what I did with my downtime as much as I did, but there will be no way to keep up this pace next season. So, for the final time, this has been the recap on the Honkie Football League Network. I'm Mark Kosinski, your champion, signing off. Peace out.
So hung up, can't count them, wasted forever. Remember, the winter gets cold in ways you always forget. Oh, you know, rhythm is soul. Get you your hands at your back pocket.